There are mornings when you wake up and the weight of the world is already pressing down on you before your feet even touch the floor. Your chest tightens, your mind races, and somewhere between the pillow and the ceiling, you find yourself asking, is God still here? This is not a simple answer. This is an encounter, an invitation to pause, to breathe, and to remember that there is a presence that never slept while you were sleeping, never withdrew while you were wandering, never fell silent while you were weeping. Our Lady walks beside you in this dawn. Psalm 34 beats like a living promise. I sought the Lord, and he heard me. Today, before the day begins, before the world demands everything from you, there is a sacred moment waiting, a stillness that belongs only to you and to God. This is that moment. Come as you are. He has been waiting. There is a kind of tiredness that sleep cannot fix. You know the one. It lives deeper than the body, somewhere in the chest, somewhere behind the eyes. It is the tiredness of carrying things you were never meant to carry alone. Worries about tomorrow, grief that never fully left, relationships that drained you, decisions that kept you awake long after midnight, a version of yourself you no longer recognize in the mirror, and yet, every morning, you get up, you face it, you keep going. That quiet courage, the one nobody sees, God sees. He sees the moment you chose to rise when everything inside you wanted to stay down. He sees the prayers you whispered so low that no one else heard them. He sees the tears you wiped before anyone noticed. And he has not looked away, not once, not ever. There is something deeply human about feeling alone in a crowd, about smiling in public and aching in private, about saying, I'm fine, when the truth is far more complicated. You have done that, haven't you? Carried a weight so familiar that you almost forgot it didn't belong to you, almost forgot there was a time when your heart felt lighter. But here is what the world doesn't tell you, and what God has always known. You were not designed for this kind of silence, not the cold silence of isolation, not the silence of feeling forgotten or overlooked or unheard. You were made for communion, for closeness, for a relationship so real and so intimate that it reaches the parts of you that no human hand can touch. That is where God lives, right there, in the part of you that aches the most. Psalm 34 was not written from a place of comfort. It was written from a place of desperation. David, the man who penned those words, was running for his life, surrounded by enemies, afraid, cornered, and yet, in the middle of that chaos, something extraordinary happened. He lifted his eyes, he opened his mouth, he chose, against every circumstance, to praise. I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall continually be in my mouth. Not sometimes, not when things get better, not when the situation changes. At all times. That is not denial, that is defiance. A holy, trembling, tear-stained defiance against despair, and it changed everything. Perhaps this morning you are in your own version of that desperate place. Perhaps the walls feel closer than they did yesterday. Perhaps you have prayed the same prayer so many times that the words have started to feel hollow, not because God stopped listening, but because you stopped believing he would answer. Can I tell you something gently? He heard you the first time. Every single time you called out, in anger, in confusion, in exhaustion, in the quiet moments before dawn when no one else was awake, he was there, not distant, not distracted, present, fully, completely, achingly present. The silence you sometimes feel is not absence, it is preparation. It is the sacred space between the prayer and the answer, where faith is not tested to break you, but to reveal what was already inside you all along. Our Lady understands this silence better than anyone. She stood at the foot of the cross and watched her son suffer. She did not run. She did not demand an explanation from heaven. She stayed, and in that staying, in that profound, devastating act of faithful presence, she became the mother of every broken heart that would ever need someone to stand beside them in the dark. She is standing beside you now, not as a distant figure from a painting or a statue in a church, but as a mother, warm, real, close enough to hear the prayer you haven't found words for yet. You don't need perfect words this morning. You don't need a clean heart or a strong faith or a life that has it all figured out. You just need to show up exactly as you are, exactly where you are, and let her take your hand and lead you to her son. So before this day pulls you in every direction, before the noise begins, before the demands and the deadlines and the disappointments line up at your door, take this moment, breathe, feel the ground beneath your feet, feel the air in your lungs, feel, even if faintly, the presence that has never left you. You are not alone. You have never been alone. And this morning, this quiet, sacred, ordinary morning, is an invitation to remember that. The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit. Psalm 34:18, He is near, right now, in this very moment. Let that be enough to take the next step. There is a prayer that has been whispered across centuries, through wars and famines, through through hospital corridors and prison cells, through the quiet desperation of ordinary people living ordinary lives that suddenly became unbearable, through the darkness of grief and the paralysis of fear, through the nights that had no stars and the mornings that brought no relief. And in every single one of those moments, in every language, in every corner of the world, someone looked up and called her name, Mary, not because she is God, but because she is the closest human being to him that has ever existed, because she carried him in her body, nursed him at her breast, watched him grow, followed him to the cross and stood witness to the resurrection, because no one in human history has ever been closer to the heart of God than the woman he chose to be his mother, and she has never, not once, turned away a soul that came to her in need. There is something about a mother's love that defies explanation. It doesn't calculate. It doesn't measure your worthiness before it embraces you. It doesn't wait for you to get it together before it opens its arms. A mother's love moves toward the wound, not away from it. It sits beside you in the mess. It holds you when you have nothing left to offer. It believes in you when you have stopped believing in yourself. That is the love Our Lady carries for you. Not a distant, formal, religious affection. A love that is personal, specific, that knows your name and your history, and every scar you've tried to hide. A love that has been interceding for you, long before you thought to ask. She has been praying for you, while you slept, while you doubted, while you wandered, while you told yourself you were too far gone for grace. She has been on her knees before the throne of God, holding your name in her heart like a mother holds a photograph of a child who is far from home. You were never forgotten, not for a single moment. Psalm 34 carries a promise that has outlasted every empire, every philosophy, every system of thought that has ever tried to explain human suffering without God. The angel of the Lord encamps around those who fear him and delivers them. Encamps, not passes by, not visits occasionally. Encamps, sets up shelter, stands guard, remains. This is not poetry. This is a declaration of spiritual reality. Around you right now, there is a protection that your eyes cannot see but your soul can feel. A presence that stands between you and the forces that seek to destroy your peace, your faith, your sense of self. Angels assigned not to the powerful or the perfect, but to those who simply turn their hearts toward God. You don't have to be strong for this protection to work. You just have to be willing to look up. Think about the moments in your life when you should have broken and didn't. The loss that should have destroyed you but somehow you survived. The moment of crisis where a door closed and another opened, unexpectedly, impossibly. The phone call that came at exactly the right time. The stranger who said exactly the right words. The inexplicable peace that settled over you in the middle of a storm that had no natural resolution. Were those coincidences? Or were they the fingerprints of a God who never stopped working on your behalf, even when you couldn't see it, even when you stopped believing it, even when you were too exhausted to pray anything more than a single, desperate syllable of his name? Grace doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it arrives quietly, in the middle of the night, in the middle of your mess, in the middle of your doubt, and you only recognize it later, looking back, realizing that you were never as alone as you felt. Our Lady knows what it means to trust God when the circumstances make no sense. When the angel came to her with an impossible announcement, she didn't demand proof. She didn't ask for a guarantee. She didn't wait until she understood everything before she said yes. She simply bowed her heart and spoke the words that changed the history of humanity. Let it be done to me according to your word. That is faith in its purest form, not the absence of fear, but the decision to trust in spite of it. And she is inviting you into that same surrender this morning, not to surrender your dreams or your will to live fully, but to surrender the illusion of control, the exhausting, soul-crushing belief that everything depends on you, that if you stop holding it all together, everything will fall apart, that God needs your anxiety to keep the world running. He doesn't. He held the universe together before you were born, and he will hold it together when your hands are too tired to grip anything at all. Your job, your only job this morning, is to trust that. Taste and see that the Lord is good. Psalm 34:8. Not analyze, not debate, not wait until all your theological questions are answered. Taste, see. It is an invitation to experience, not just to understand, to step into the reality of God's goodness not as an intellectual concept, but as a living, breathing, personal truth that transforms the way you move through the world. You have tasted it before, in moments of unexpected joy, in the warmth of a sunrise that met you exactly when you needed beauty, in the hug of someone who didn't know you were falling apart but held you like they did, in the inexplicable sense, in the middle of your worst night, that you were going to be okay. That was God. That was His goodness, reaching through the ordinary fabric of life to remind you that He is real, that He is here, that He is good, not in spite of your suffering, but present within it, working through it, redeeming it in ways you cannot yet fully see. Our Lady's protection is not a shield that keeps life from being hard. It is something far more powerful than that. It is the grace to walk through the hard things without losing your soul, the strength to remain tender when bitterness would be easier, the courage to keep loving when love has cost you everything, the faith to keep praying when heaven feels silent, the peace that passes all understanding, the kind that makes no logical sense given your circumstances, and yet settles in your chest like a warm light that refuses to go out. That is what she intercedes for. Not a life without pain, but a heart that can hold pain without being consumed by it. And that is exactly what God offers you this morning. So come to her, come to Him. Bring your fears, bring your failures, bring the prayers you've been too ashamed to say out loud, bring the anger you've been afraid to admit, bring the doubt that has been quietly eating at the edges of your faith. Bring all of it. There is no version of you that is too broken for this love, no chapter of your story so dark that grace cannot enter it, no distance so great that a single turn of the heart cannot close it. She is waiting, He is waiting, and the protection that has followed you through every storm you've already survived, it has not left, it will not leave. It is as real as the breath in your lungs and as faithful as the sunrise that came this morning without you having to ask. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivers him out of them all. Psalm 34:19. Out of them all, not some, not most, all. Hold on to that today. Let it be the ground beneath your feet when everything else feels uncertain. Let it be the voice you return to when the noise of the world drowns out everything else. He delivers. He always has. He always will. There is something holy about the first moments of a new day. Before the phone lights up, before the news cycle begins, before the world remembers that you exist and starts making demands on your time, your energy, your attention, there is a window, small, fragile, sacred, that belongs to no one but you and God. Most people sleep through it, not because they don't care, but because no one ever told them what was waiting for them in that stillness. No one ever said, "This is the moment that shapes everything else. This is the hinge on which the whole day turns." You are awake now, and that is not an accident. Good morning, not as a formality, not as a phrase emptied of meaning by repetition, but as a declaration, a choice, a conscious, deliberate decision to greet this day, with all its uncertainty, all its unknowns, all its potential for both beauty and difficulty, with the word good, because God is in it. And wherever God is, goodness is possible, not the shallow goodness of easy days and smooth roads, but the deep, unshakable goodness of a Father who knows exactly what this day holds and has already gone ahead of you into every hour, every conversation, every challenge, every moment that will make you want to give up or give in. He is already there, waiting for you to arrive. This is what morning prayer does. It doesn't change God. He is unchanging, the same yesterday, today, and forever. What morning prayer changes is you. It recalibrates your soul. It reminds you, before the world has a chance to tell you otherwise, who you are and whose you are. It reorients your heart toward the only compass that never points you wrong. When you begin the day in God's presence, you carry that presence with you, into the traffic, into the difficult conversation, into the quiet loneliness of an afternoon that stretches on without relief, into the moment of temptation, into the unexpected crisis, into the ordinary, mundane, seemingly insignificant moments that actually make up most of a human life. You carry Him with you, and that changes everything. Our Lady knew this every morning of her life, from the small home in Nazareth to the years she walked beside her Son, from the devastation of Calvary to the quiet waiting before Pentecost. She began in prayer, not because she was required to, but because she understood something that the noise of the modern world has made us forget. We are not self-sufficient. We were never meant to be. The hunger you feel, that persistent, nameless ache that no achievement or relationship or distraction has ever fully satisfied, that is not a flaw in your design. That is the design itself. You were made with a space inside you that only God can fill. And every morning is an invitation to stop trying to fill it with everything else and simply return to the one who made you. She returned every morning, and she is inviting you to do the same. The Lord redeems the soul of his servants, and none of those who take refuge in him will be condemned. Psalm 34:22. Read that again, slowly. None, not the ones who have it together, not the ones with perfect attendance at church or flawless records of obedience. None of those who take refuge. Anyone, everyone, who simply turns and runs toward him instead of away from him. That is the promise this morning is built on. You don't have to earn your way into this day. You don't have to prove you deserve the mercy that is already being extended to you before you even asked. You don't have to fix yourself before you come to him. You come broken, and he makes you whole. You come empty, and he fills you. You come afraid, and he says, as he has always said from the first page of Scripture to the last, do not be afraid. I am with you. So let this be your prayer this morning. Not a performance, not a rehearsed list of requests, but a conversation. Real, honest, unfiltered. The way you would speak to someone who already knows everything about you and loves you anyway, because that is exactly who is listening. Tell him about the fear you woke up with. He already knows, but he wants to hear it from you, because intimacy is not about information. It is about trust. Tell him about the person you've been struggling to forgive, the wound that reopens every time you think it has finally healed. He is not shocked. He is not disappointed. He is leaning in. Tell him about the dream you are afraid to believe in anymore, the one that life has knocked down so many times that hope itself has started to feel dangerous. He has not forgotten that dream. He placed it there. Tell him about the gratitude, the small, quiet gratitude for things you almost stopped noticing, the warmth of sunlight through a window, the sound of a voice you love, the fact that your heart is still beating, that your lungs are still breathing, that you are still here, still in the story, still with pages left to be written. Good morning, Our Lady. Good morning, gentle mother who has never abandoned a single soul that called her name in the dark, who stood at the foot of the cross so that we would never have to face our own crosses alone, who carried God in her arms so that we might carry him in our hearts. Walk with me today. When I forget who I am, remind me. When I am tempted to believe that I am too small for God's plans or too broken for his love, remind me. When the day grows heavy and the noise grows loud and I lose the thread of this morning's peace, bring me back, quietly, gently, the way only a mother can. Take my hand and lead me to your Son. That is all I ask. That is everything I need. Good morning, Lord. You who spoke light into darkness and called it good. You who formed me from dust and breathed life into what was nothing. You who have known my name since before the foundations of the world were laid. You who counted every hair on my head and every tear I have ever cried. I am here, imperfect and incomplete and still learning how to trust, but I am here and I am yours. Take this day. Take the hours I can see and the hours I cannot. Take the conversations I'm dreading and the ones I don't know are coming. Take the strength I have and the weakness I'm ashamed of. Take the faith that remains and meet it with your faithfulness, which has always been greater, always been steadier, always been more than enough. Let me see your hand in the details today, in the small mercies, in the unexpected moments of grace, in the face of a stranger, in a song that finds me at exactly the right time, in the quiet that descends, suddenly and without explanation, in the middle of a moment that should have broken me. Remind me, again and again as many times as I need, that you are real, that this is real, that the love you have for me is not a concept or a comfort or a coping mechanism, but the most solid, most enduring, most unshakable reality in existence. There is nothing more real than you. Psalm 34 ends not with triumph, but with faithfulness, not with a life that became perfect, but with a God who remained constant through every imperfection, not with the absence of affliction, but with the presence of a deliverer who never once failed to show up. That is the story of every person who has ever truly sought him. Not a story of a life without storms, but a story of a God who walks into every storm, who sits beside you in every wilderness, who holds your hand through every valley, and who, when you finally reach the other side, has made something of the journey that you could never have imagined when you were in the middle of it. That is his promise to you today. Not ease, not the removal of every difficulty, but presence. Faithful, unbroken, unconditional presence, and in the end, in the long, eternal, beautiful end that is worth more than any circumstance could ever be. So begin. Step into this day not as someone who has everything figured out, but as someone who knows who holds everything together, not as someone without fear, but as someone who has decided that faith is stronger than fear, not as someone who has never doubted, but as someone who has come back again and again and again, because there is nowhere else to go that is as real as this. Seek him today, in the quiet and in the chaos, in the beauty and in the broken places, in the sacred and in the mundane, in the prayer you pray with words and in the prayer you pray with your life. He will be found. He has always been found by those who truly seek him. Taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the man who takes refuge in him. Psalm 34:8. Blessed, not perfect, not powerful, not put together, blessed. And today, this ordinary, irreplaceable, God-breathed morning, that blessing is yours. Good morning. Go gently. Go faithfully. He is with you. This morning will pass. The day will unfold in ways you cannot predict or control. There will be moments of grace and moments of struggle, hours that feel like gifts and hours that feel like tests. People who lift you and circumstances that challenge you. The full, complex, beautiful, difficult texture of a human life in motion. But underneath all of it, beneath every layer of noise and need and uncertainty, there is a foundation that does not shift. God was real before this morning began. He will be real when this day ends. He was real in every season of your life that felt like abandonment, and he will be real in every season yet to come. Our Lady has been walking beside you longer than you know. The words of Psalm 34 have been true for 3,000 years, and they are just as true right now, in your specific life, in your specific struggle, in your specific and irreplaceable story. You sought him this morning, and he heard you. That is not a small thing, that is everything. Carry it with you today like a light in your chest that the wind cannot touch. And when the day tries to make you forget, come back to this. Come back to the stillness. Come back to the prayer. Come back to the one who is always, always waiting. There is nothing more real than God, and you are never alone. Amen. If this message touched your heart this morning, leave a comment below with, "Good morning, Lord. I am here, and I am yours." Your words might be exactly what someone else needs to read today. If this kind of content speaks to your soul, subscribe to this channel so you never miss what's coming next. Like and share this video. Someone out there needs to hear this message more than you know. Together we choose every morning to seek God first. Thank you for being here.